Why do some house extensions feel completely effortless and others feel awkward and cramped, even when they're still the same size? It's not the square meterage, it's the thinking behind them. Most people assume that design starts on a computer, perfect lines, clean drawings, polished floor plans ready for planning permission. It doesn't. It starts exactly like this: a blank sheet of tracing paper, a pen, and a lot of messy thinking, a lot of scribbling, drawing, trying to come up with the perfect layout. If you're planning a home extension in the UK and you've ever wondered how we come up with the layouts and the ideas, today I'm going to show you the real process. No glossy renders, no software tricks, just testing ideas, sketching, refining, and slowly shaping something that works. Hi, I'm Paul from Lightbox, and I help homeowners across the UK design extensions and renovations that actually work both practically and financially. If you want clear, honest advice without all the jargon on everything home extensions and renovations, subscribe to the channel. So today you're actually going to see stages that most clients don't get to see properly, and that is the concept stage. So before I even start sketching layouts, I've got the client's brief in my head already. Now, this is fairly typical for a single story rear extension. They want a bigger kitchen, they want something open plan, they want some family space, somewhere where the space is better connected to either the garden or if they have friends and family over. They want more natural daylight, so that we want lots of glazing. We're thinking about where the sun comes up in the morning, where it goes down on the evening, so we can work out where that natural daylight is going to come from. Obviously, if we build an extension on a north-facing side of the building, then it's not going to get a lot of natural daylight. So the key thing here is space is limited. Most semi-detached homes don't have endless amounts of width or space to play with. So the layout really becomes everything. So this stage is really about solving that puzzle and fitting in what the client's brief is into a good workable extension that flows well within the existing property. This stage is very much about just letting the pen do work its magic, just flowing with whatever ideas come out, getting them down on paper. And it may be that, you know, from that sparks another idea. I get another sheet of trace, put that on the top and redraw and try a new layout. And slowly I start to come up with ideas that work for the space. Once I've got that together, I can start to refine it a little bit more. But at this point, it is very rough, very sketchy, and it's just me throwing ideas down onto the paper. Now, I do use my iPad and do this electronically, but I do still like doing it with tracing paper, pens and pencils, just because it's got that real feel to it in terms of sketching. And actually, I really enjoy it.
This is for a single story and a two-story extension that the client is looking to extend their detached property. And the client's got in the region of 150 to 180k budget. So although we can do something, try and do something nice in terms of the space, we probably are still limited with budget. The budget is tight even at 150, 180k because we've got a two-story, so potentially we've got a two-story section here that's going to go over the garage, and we've got a party wall here, so we may need to do some steel work in order to support the two-story section, rather than taking all of this down and rebuilding it. Clients looking then to extend out the back here with a single story in order to try and open up this space. At the moment, they've got quite a large utility area, downstairs toilet and cupboard, but they've got a tiny kitchen area that just doesn't work for them. Then they've got these two big rooms here as a lounge and dining room. This is a sort of a 1920s, 1930s style property, and I'll put some pictures in the video of how the house looks at the moment. And we've got the classic conservatory at the back, which is pretty much just a dumping ground at the moment. It's unusable space. It's hot in the summer, freezing cold in the winter. Any radiators that they put in there, the heat just basically pumps out through the polycarb roof that's on the top. And so we want to try and incorporate this into into an extension. The conservatory is going to have to be knocked down because conservatories don't meet sort of building regulations, so they get built without building control. And the way the building inspectors look at them is that actually they don't exist in terms of building control. And so the simplest, easiest way is to demolish them and start again. Obviously, we're looking to retain as much of the structure as we can to reuse, because that's more cost effective for the client in terms of spending their budget well. We've also got this hallway area here, so I've got this sort of beautiful house on the front with a nice sort of big frontage. And you come into the front door and it's very squeezed through this hallway area. So you go through this sort of narrow, squashed area. Then it opens up a little bit into the hallway. But obviously you've still got a wall at the side of the stairs, so it does make that feel a little bit more enclosed than having an open balustrade. And then obviously into this really small kitchen. They've got a nice garden at the back, but you can't see any of that because it's all you can see is walls and doors as you come in. So what I like to do is to try and be able to, as you come into the property, that you've got that little visual that will sort of grab your attention as you come in the front door, that you can see little glimpses of maybe the kitchen or the rooms beyond that wants you to draw through the house. And then when you get into that space, then that opens up into the garden area, and certainly once they've landscaped the garden. But we've got this small cupboard here at the moment. We've got the staircase that comes down. We've got a level landing here with just one step that goes into this hallway cupboard. And I just think that we can open this area up and make this much more inviting, rather than this very narrow tunnel that they come in at the moment down here into this space. So I've had a look at a few images, ideas. I've looked around, taken into consideration some of the other jobs that I've done previously, and I've actually done another property in the same road. So I'm just gonna sketch some ideas and look at what space I've got. I know roughly that they want to come out at the rear probably 3-4 meters at the back here, so that gives me some kind of line to sort of work to in terms of how far I'm coming out and what I can do. And then I'm just going to look at potentially reconfiguring this space and just trying a few different options of how that can evolve into a more open plan living and a better use of the space that they've got. They've also got this big garage area, which is they use it. I think the husband's got a motorbike, so need a little bit of space for that. But generally, again, with the garage, they just use the storage. Not many people really put cars in garages anymore, and a lot of the older properties, the garages are too narrow. So although you can get the car in, you can't really open the door either side. And we've got this sort of, at the moment, we've got this narrow garage and then this sort of walkway down the side. So I think we could sort of reduce some of that space and maybe use some of that to incorporate in their new space. So I've got my existing floor plan that I've just roughly drafted out. I've got a piece of trace on the top. I like doing this by hand, and I do use my iPad and do it electronically, but sometimes doing it with a bit of tracing paper just feels nice. I've got my various pens, so I've got a 0.5 high-tech Pilot pen here that I use. I quite like these pens; they're really good to work with. Then I've got my slightly thicker black pen that again is good for just getting some layouts down. Then I've got a couple of red pens, a thin 0.5 red pen, and then I've got my slightly thicker medium red pen just to go over the top, because sometimes I draw something and maybe it doesn't quite work exactly as I want it to, and I want to be able to go over the top, so I'd either use a thicker pen or maybe a red pen to try and work that out. So in terms of the spaces, we're looking for a kitchen open plan. We are looking for a utility area, potentially to remove the chimney breasts. Then we need a little bit of storage in the area, and a ground ground floor WC. So these are sort of the spaces that I'm working with on the ground level. So I like to scribble down just a little list of what spaces I need to think about considering.
So that's the thinking behind the process in part one. So we've understood the brief, we've analysed the space, and we're looking at what the design constraints are on the site before we put pen to paper. Now, in part two, I'll be sketching out the layouts, looking at moving kitchens, the circulation and entrance space, and how to refine these floor plans on a trace to actually achieve a final design. Now, if you want to see how these rough designs actually turn into workable design drawings, then go and check out part two. The link should be just above here. And if you're planning your own extension, make sure you subscribe to the channel for practical UK home extension advice, design tips and guidance before you start building. I'll see you in part two.